In the late 15th century, the small but fiercely independent kingdom of Tripura was ruled by Maharaja Dhanya Manikya, a wise and courageous king. Under his leadership, Tripura thrived, expanding its borders and gaining prominence in the region. However, across the lands to the west, another powerful ruler, Sultan Alauddin Husain Shah of Bengal, harbored ambitions of conquest. His eyes turned toward Tripura, the jewel nestled between the hills, rich with culture and resources. Husain Shah had already spread his influence far and wide, extending Bengal's might into parts of Assam. Now, he sought to bring Tripura under his banner. Word soon reached Dhanya Manikya that the Bengal Sultan was preparing his forces, a mighty army of seasoned warriors, ready to march into the hills of Tripura. The Maharaja knew well that Tripura, though strong in spirit, was no match in size to the vast Bengal Sultanate. Yet, he was undeterred. "We are small," he told his advisors, "but our courage is boundless, and our land is worth defending." As the clouds of war loomed, Dhanya Manikya began to prepare. He sent scouts to watch the movements of the Bengal army and strengthen the defenses of his kingdom. The Tripuri soldiers, though fewer in number, were skilled in the art of war, especially in the rugged terrain of their homeland. One day, the Sultan's army arrived at the borders of Tripura, gleaming with steel and banners flying high. Husain Shah, confident of his victory, sent a messenger to Dhanya Manikya, demanding the kingdom's submission. But the Maharaja, standing tall in his court, replied, "We bow to no one. Tripura has always been free, and under my rule it shall remain so." War broke out. The Bengal army advanced, believing they would quickly overpower the Tripuri forces. But Dhanya Manikya had a strategy. His warriors led the enemy deep into the forests and hills where the terrain turned against them. Ambushes were frequent, and the Tripuris, familiar with every corner of their land, struck swiftly and then vanished into the shadows. Days turned into weeks, and Husain Shah's once confident army began to struggle. The thick forests and unfamiliar landscape sapped their strength. The Sultan, though a skilled ruler, had underestimated the resolve of Dhanya Manikya and his people. In a decisive battle, Dhanya Manikya's forces, having carefully studied the Bengal army's weaknesses, launched a bold attack. The Sultan's troops, tired and demoralized, were forced to retreat. The hills echoed with the cheers of the Tripuris as the invaders fled back to Bengal. Husain Shah, humiliated by the defeat, abandoned his dreams of conquering Tripura. Dhanya Manikya, with his bravery and tactical brilliance, had secured the kingdom's independence. For years to come, bards would sing of Maharaja Dhanya Manikya, the king who defended his land against a mighty sultan, and of Tripura, the small kingdom that stood tall against the tide of conquest.